Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Super Smackdown. Who gives a shit? It's all about the American election, and for fuck's sake, Linda McMahon lost her seat. Sorry to wake you up, NJ, but there's just something I need to get off my chest. Yes! 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 That felt good, NJ. So, to be honest, no one really gave a shit about this SmackDown. People were more interested in the election, and they'll probably won't even be watching this review because all they give a shit about is the election, and who can really blame them? Apparently, this was a live SmackDown, even though it was taped. I mean, for God's sake, it's on from 1 till 3 AM in the morning. Why would we believe it's a live taping? And, by the way, guys, Barack Obama is 4 points ahead of Mitt Romney right now. And that's all I really care about. So, should we get to this show, or what should we do? I'm kind of out of breath. Do you want to take over? Oh.
And that was SmackDown, YouTubers. Till next time, from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Go Obama! We're joking.
Oh, do we have to really review this shit?
Do you want me to do it?
No, we'll do it.
Open with Sheamus, who isn't smiling, by the way.
And that's not a bad thing.
No.
That's a good thing.
That is definitely a good thing. And we get that footage of the Big Show and Regal at the pub getting attacked by Big Show. You know, using that thing called copying TNA again with the cell phone footage, WWE. Copying the smaller company. You know, the smaller company's doing well when the bigger company are copying them, don't you? And then you get Sheamus telling Cole to get out of the ring. Show gets on the Titantron, you know, saying blah, 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 this. Then out comes Barrett, who's still way over with the British crowd. Sheamus wants to fight him. Barrett backs off, and we get the backstage announcement. Barrett and Big Show versus Sheamus and Regal is made, which we found out would be at our main event. What did you think of this opening segment?
The thing that really stood out to me, out of all honesty, was Barrett. Sheamus, goes in there, tells the commentator whoever's interviewing to get out the ring so he can start cutting his promo. Great. Big Show, okay, he still says that he's going to go on and he's going to retain his title, he's the best and blah, blah. Yeah, well done, Big Show, you freak. And then you have Barrett who comes out, who I think throughout the night, they really emphasise on him being a main event character, the character to go into this series. Really nice spot. But the thing is, I really feel they're rushing Barrett, because Barrett's been going through these, like, matches to try and make him a main eventer, distraction wins. So I think they're trying to rush Barrett to make him look important for this Survivor Series match. But I'm liking it. I'm a Barrett fan. Finally, Barrett's getting to be a main eventer looker.
Bloody hell, are we still on the opener? 3 minutes into the video. Mitt Romney, people, has just gone 162 with Barack Obama on 157. It's heating up here. Will Barack Obama win or will Mitt Romney win? I guess you'll know by the time you're watching this video, because it'll be over. We're definitely not live here at the British Fist, just like SmackDown weren't live at Birmingham today. We get our opening match of the card, which is Miz versus Kofi Kingston for the Intercontinental Championship. As usually I would moan about title matches on free TV, but with Kofi Kingston being in the Survivor Series match, I didn't really have as much of an issue with them putting on the belt on the line here, especially Miz has now been taken out of that match and is essentially job fodder. And especially when they're in England, when you want to give the English fans at least something big. But the problem is now, this is the 4th time we've seen it, and I hope this is just over now after Kofi Kingston has beaten Miz 4 times.
That's the thing. Even though they're trying to make Miz go in a different direction, this match has been seen before. Nothing really special about this match. I could have, just like Ryback's old matches, I could have replayed any of their past 3 matches, and it would have been the exact same thing, same result, but this thing is finally over.
Hallelujah! 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 And they pretty much worked it the same way as the pay-per-view as well, didn't they? With the Miz going after the leg, and Kofi gets the win with the splash. And then you get this interesting segment where Miz tries to shake Kofi's hand, and then Kofi kicks him out the ring. Another example of WWE booking their heels as babyfaces and their babyfaces as heels, with the Miz never being able to get a win over the babyface and then getting his ass kicked when he tries to do something good.
I'm quite liking the thing about Kofi Kingston actually back in the mid-card to the tag. I do think he does play a better role. Even though he's a good tag team partner, he's a good mid-carder. The match against Miz, we've seen it before. Miz, I want to see better go from the Miz. I just depend what happens following Survivor Series for these two.
Mr. Parkin bringing you breaking US election news on the go. Rey and Sunkara versus Primetime Players. We've already seen this match once at the pay-per-views in which Rey and Sunkara won. Surprised to see the primetime players win this match, NJ?
Really not. The primetime players still bore me, and they're still trying to be... they're a tag team for the WWE. A tag team the WWE don't even seem to really care about. And the one that really stands out is Titus O'Neil.
Titus O'Neil, with his whistle as well. So you get this. So you get primetime players get the victory. Striker can't do the dance because he's Matt Striker, and then they make fun of Striker. I thought that was quite entertaining personally, but maybe that might have been a reflection on everything else that happened on the show. That's just me. So are they going to do this at the pay-per-view? Maybe bring in Santino and Ryder and maybe Epico and Primo for like a 4-on-4.
Yeah, W doing that. Yeah, W doing that. Yeah, they'll do that. Yeah,
it's just an idea. I'm just saying. In the first of our 2 recaps of the night, 2 Raw recaps, something that SmackDown is typically good at. We get the recap of the AJ Cena scandal. Now, this comes on the eve that even though Cena is now in the main event and seemingly has nothing to do with this angle anymore, they're still recapping it.
This really took a bit of time. I'm just saying, the first part of the show, they were doing well without giving us too many Raw recaps, Raw kind of hinted matches. I thought, okay, this is not too bad. Then this happened, took a bit of time, and it was a segment of Raw that I really didn't care about. The ratings, I don't know how well this part did for Raw, but I bet it absolutely sucked because it did suck overall. I
love my new tablet, MJ. I can get the US election news on there and stuff. It's fucking awesome. I love the Google Nexus 32 gigabyte device. Barrett and Big Show versus Sheamus and Regal. Must admit, it was very nice to see William Regal out there, even though you had... You know, it's JBL has been burying Josh Matthews on the commentary. Do you reckon that's an indication that JBL is just far higher than Josh Matthews and he's trying to really teach him a lesson? Or do you think it's just because Josh Matthews isn't good enough to be a commentator on the level of JBL?
JBL is just one of the great talkers on mic, as a heel, as a commentator, so I think Josh Matthews is just getting his little parts in the show, but nothing compared to JBL.
And the match plodders along, and typical our main event on SmackDown, Big Show pins William Regal. I think it was wise that they had Big Show pin William Regal, because I think pinning Sheamus here would have been a bit of a mistake. Personally, out of all the 3 guys, Regal was going to be the one that had to eat the pin, essentially, at the end of the day.
I don't think this match was too bad. I was quite enjoying seeing the fact that Barrett is in the ring and actually in a match that puts him in the ring with Big Show and Sheamus. Yes, Regal got his little part, but majority of the match you would see him getting beat down somehow. This match was okay, and Big Show getting the win over Sheamus, over Regal. I was hoping that Barrett would have got the pin on Regal, but the match was okay.
Question, NJ. How would you feel if you wasted $120 million on essentially nothing? How would you feel if you just wasted that amount of money on nothing and nothing happened and you lost whatever it is you were trying to go for? How would that make you feel?
I guess she's going to keep on trying, because obviously with all this money she's got and she's not spending it. Why not spend it on something that's going to hopefully, in her eyes, get her somewhere?
Well, you know what's going to happen now, don't you, NJ? It's releases time. Remember 2010 when they released all those people? Looks like guys like Drew McIntyre and A-Ryan may be getting released now, unfortunately. They did us another Raw recap because they couldn't stop giving us Raw recaps in this second half of the live Super Smackdown. We get a recap of that very uncomfortable, awful promo by Brad Maddox. Brad Maddox, get it right, Americans. And the awkward announcement from Vince. It was very heavily edited to come across as good, even though at the time, Raw, it wasn't a very good promo. And what did they expect when they put Brad Maddox, who is essentially an SCW talent, in a big spot on the card, on his own with a microphone? What did they expect? Really? Even with it when it was heavily edited. What did they expect? I mean, we're pretty much summing up here. The fact that no one really gave a shit and everyone was quiet. But there we go. We then move on to the main event of SmackDown. Finally.
Yes, finally.
And Randy Orton versus Alberto Del Rio in a Falls Count Anywhere match. This took quite a lot of the show time, didn't it? I must admit, they did a good job of, like, playing to the Falls Count Anywhere gimmick, going backstage. They went all over the arena. They even went in the cheap seats. If you knew anyone in the cheap seats, they would have got some nice camera time up there. So I thought this is a pretty decent Falls Count Anywhere match. I didn't think it was like a great Falls Count Anywhere match. They didn't really use enough weapons, in my opinion. But what were your thoughts?
I really thought it was a standard Fall Count Anywhere. Normally when you get Fall Count Anywhere, they do try and now use the backstage area, try and do this, try and use some weapon usage, but I don't think it was that great. And the fact is, even though they tried to add a stipulation to this match, the thing is, the fact they've added the stipulation should give Alberto the advantage of somehow beating Orton in a cheapish way, using weapon usage. But the thing is, the WWE weren't going to do that to Orton because Orton is their top guy and Del Rio's not going to ever make it to a place where he used to be trying to aim to be. So this match overall, I weren't overly into it, but I guess there was a few spots that you YouTubers could point out to me. Yeah,
and also don't forget the fact that he had Rodriguez out there, so it's essentially 2-on-1. So when push comes to shove, essentially the RKO on the stairs gets the win for Randy Orton, and I must admit, you know, I don't mind Randy Orton going over here if it's going to end the feud, because if they're going to end the feud, they have to have the babyface go over. But now they've had Orton win at the pay-per-view, they've had Orton win on SmackDown. They're going to be in that 5-on-5 on, Survivor Series, which I assume Orton is going to win. So essentially, when it comes down to it, what was the point of having a feud between Orton and Del Rio if Del Rio wasn't even going to win one match?
It's given Del Rio some good mic time. I give him that because some of his promos have made me laugh. Some of his actions have made me laugh. Some of his beatdowns on Orton have been good. But overall, this is another wasted feud, I think. It's not really benefited Orton. It's not really benefited Del Rio, apart from his mic skills. But I just thought, even this match, nothing really came from it.
I'll say this though, I will stick a positive, like you did in the review yesterday, NJ. I'll try and stick some positive here. At least WWE in this show tried to give us something. Like, they gave us a Falls Count Anywhere match as our main event. They gave us an IC title match. They gave us a potential pay-per-view match between Rey and Sunkara and the Primetime Players. At least on this edition of SmackDown, it felt like WWE were trying. Because the one issue I had with Raw is that it didn't seem like WWE for 1 minute were actually giving a shit about the show. But at least it seemed, despite the recaps and all the things we pointed out about this SmackDown that really didn't interest us, at least they tried to give the fans something, which essentially is what you have to do when you come all the way to the UK to try and give UK people who are probably only going to watch wrestling a couple of times because WWE only come about once or twice a year to do these kind of tapings. At least they tried to give them something special, especially to end the show with that main event, even though Orton did go over. I'll say that. That's my positive slant on this. Anything from you?
The only thing I can say positive about SmackDown is, number one, the whole Barrett stuff. They're actually giving Barrett what he deserves, what he should have been getting since he came back. Then the rest of it, Survivor Series, I don't really feel much Survivor Series stuff in this show, apart from the few video packages.
Yeah, probably because they changed it all around at the last minute.
And the other thing is, thanks for coming to the UK, but I don't really feel that even SmackDown was a good UK show.
I mean, it wasn't live. It was how the fuck was it live? Most other people cared about the presidential election, including myself. I was looking at the presidential election while I was watching SmackDown. Overall, there was some good stuff in this show, but there was all those recaps, stuff that I didn't really care too much about. It was nice they got William Regal involved. On the surface, you could say this was a good show. I really felt I could, but the fact is, no one will give a shit about it because it's a live. Who the hell decided to put a live SmackDown or a live SmackDown on the same day as the election day? Who the fuck in the back of the WWE dressing room decided to book that shit? That's what I want to know. So give us your thoughts on this edition of SmackDown. And I just have one thing to say. Linda McMahon, fuck you. Seriously.
And now I'm going to say is that when it comes to this, the debate thing actually did stand out as a really strong thing for the show. And because when it comes to the US, you have this big popular sport being wrestling, but when it comes to comparing to the history and everything going in with America, obviously that's going to take over. So I wouldn't be surprised if this gets a low rating for the WWE. But there was no really good. So the people who were tuning into the US debate stuff, they were obviously the election. Sorry, they were actually worth more watching that than this show.
To be honest, the election kind of took over this review a little bit as well, didn't it? So that kind of shows you how important the election is at this point and why WWE should never have done a show on Tuesday. But there we go. So leave us your thoughts on this show and the fact that Linda McMahon lost her Senate campaign. Where do you think this could go for the WWE now? Do you think they'll go to a little bit more of a more edgier product while still saying PG? What do you think they're going to do? I don't really know. Look out for tomorrow when we're going to be uploading a video on the changing of the Survivor Series matches. We had an interesting discussion there. Impact review as normal on Thursday, and a Q&A will be uploaded on Friday for you guys on the day where SmackDown is airing again that no one will care about. So look forward to those videos. Comment your thoughts on this show down in the comment section below. You do the outro. I just want to have a quick look at the election stuff.
And I could really do with the monster. So YouTubers, I'm going to wrap this up quickly. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.
Obama, Obama.